Kia ora, beautiful people. I have a message for you today, which I think is really relevant to a lot of people. I know that I've had clients in the past and friends in the past who've asked me this question, and it's a question that I feel I've been asking myself subconsciously perhaps for my whole life and answering different levels of it as I go through. And that question is, am I too much? And this is a big question, and it's filled with a lot of sadness, I feel, because we're literally asking, if I put my true self out there in the world as I am, as I truly am I going to get rejected? So it's a big question. And I wanted to share an experience that I had over the weekend with some friends, which inadvertently I managed to answer this question for me. And so I want to see if this is also relevant to you, because it feels like it's a really important thing to put out there. So me, my partner, and two friends, we had an intention of creating a ceremony where we could just step into, I suppose, our next level of power, of being ourselves, of connecting to our true essence and our true innate purpose in life. And so we created a medicine sphere, which is a shamanic tool of protection. And it doesn't matter if you don't know how to do this, because you can, I don't know, you could look it up on YouTube. You can also just choose to do protection in the way that feels right for you. So with this shamanic sphere, you're honoring each of the different directions, north, south, east, west, and you're acknowledging the guardians of each of those directions. You're calling in your loving ancestors, your guides, perhaps your power animals, the light. If those things don't feel like they connect to you though, then you find what does. And so perhaps just calling in the plants around, the ocean, the sky, the beautiful trees, the four-legged beings and the two-legged birds and things who are around, calling them and honoring them and acknowledging them. Perhaps acknowledging your family who are on the earth. So just really feel what works for you. Just the important thing is to create a safe space. We also used beautiful, what are they called? The smelly sticks. Anyway, the incense and sage and things like that to clear the space, to clear the energy. We also had crystals and candles and beautiful things. So just stuff you like, really. And so we did that, and we also connected to some plant medicine. So again, if you're choosing a plant medicine that feels right for you, just feel what you're called to. And so the cacao is a really powerful one, a really strong one. Of course, you've got your bark remedies and just different flowers. We also use some kawa, which is one of the powerful spiritual New Zealand plants, the tree, and it's quite tasty as well in a tea. And so just feel what your heart is called to if you are going to work with some kind of plant medicine. We also used breath work, and I was connecting to sound healing. And there's someone I need to also interview, because she's an incredible sound healer, and I've done a workshop with her, and this is where I started to begin to open my connection. We're actually doing Te Reo Māori was when I really started to connect to my voice and my sound, because we're so encouraged to sing, which is beautiful, because you don't really judge your voice when you do it in that space, or you're encouraged not to, and you learn not to eventually. So yeah, various different things. But for me, my sense, my expression that was most shut down, if you like, would have been sound for me. And so that's why I wanted to explore that. And then during this ceremony, it came up really strongly for me, and it helped me answer this question, am I too much? And so I was feeling a lot of my natural self coming through, which is very giggly and silly, and asking questions and answering them for myself in these beautiful ways, and then and being quite loud, and in a lot of ways being quite disruptive, which reminded me of when I was a quite hyperactive child and full of energy, and yeah, that kind of can be a bit too much sometimes for your parents and for your teachers, and you get shushed a lot. And so it was a lot about just allowing that to come through in a safe space and connecting to my voice. So I felt at certain times I was calling from deep within myself, and it felt like the universe that lives inside us all. And this is what I feel when I connect deeply to my heart, and that is about going deep into my intuition. I connect deeply to my heart, dropping into my heart. When I go deeply in, I feel like there's a point where I drop through into the universe that lives inside me. And so maybe you've experienced this as well. You kind of feel like you're in this, it's going to be different for everyone, but yeah, this kind of held, connected, expansive space. And so from that space, but deep, deep within me, I felt like I was like calling and sounding and wailing at times and howling and just allowing this emotion to come through me. And it was a clearing and a healing for myself, of course, but I felt like I was connecting to the pain of the ocean, to the pain of the skies. Of course, there are places that have been polluted and disrespected, and then also to those who were not able to be in a space where they can clear like this. And so I was also clearing for them. So someone who's in an apartment building, this is going to be really difficult, or they're in a shared house or something. So I was feeling incredibly grateful for that at the same time. And in the back of my mind, there was also this question is like, am I being too much? Am I being too disruptive? Is this going to turn people away from me? Are they going to realize, oh my God, she's just like batshit crazy. What the hell? Ugh. And I was feeling all of that and just allowing these sounds to come through me anyway. And the conclusion really that I felt the connection was, yeah, if I was like that all the time, if I was making these big, deep, loud noises all of the time, and if I was laughing and being silly all the time, that would be too much. And that's okay, because I don't need to be like that all the time. That's not all of who I am. This connecting like with you in this way right now, just talking, I would say quite lucidly, quite calmly, quite relaxed. Also times when I'm not speaking at all, sleeping, that's a nice moment to have as well. Moving, exercising, all of these things. I don't need to be in this space of being like hyperactive, giggly, and very loud, howly. Like that's just not really practical. However, by me connecting to myself in this safe container, this safe space, and allowing myself to be too much for a while, I was able to love myself in that space regardless. And it was a very unconditional love. It was like, actually, if people can't handle a little bit of this from me at times, like flashes of it, like a little bit of spice, then that's okay. But this is who I am, and this is who I'm going to continue to be. And so it was a deeper level of unconditional love for myself, of respecting that, yeah, at times I'm going to be like that, but I'm not going to be like that continuously, where it's like somebody saying, I'm not touching you constantly all the time, because that you'd want to throttle me. And fair enough. But having this short period of time where I was able to just be continuously a bit too much and love myself anyway and see the power and the magic in that, it did so much for me to show me the spice of me. And so I think of this analogy, like most people would not paint their entire house bright pink or gold, because it would just be a bit of an assault on the senses. However, if you have like just one lampshade or just a flash and a painting, actually look, this is a painting done by my beautiful soul sister Stephanie, and there is, I don't know if you can see on this video, but also if you're listening to it you may not be able to see obviously, but still there's a painting of a lion and there's just like flashes of gold within the fur, and so it looks really, really beautiful. Just, yeah, you can sort of see the light coming through, but this is on YouTube, and if you can't see it, just know there's a lion and there's flashes of gold within the fur. It's not like the whole thing is gold, and that would be too much. That would be garish and a bit like, ugh. Whereas just with little flashes of it, it's so beautiful, and it just lifts and enhances the whole painting. And so for me, what I connected to during this sacred ceremony, these parts of me, just let it all out. Then I was able to love myself for that part, and to know that when those elements come through, when the spice comes through, then that's great. I can let that be there, but it might only be for a second or two, and then that's enough. It's enough to kind of bring through whatever the healing is, the message, the lightness, the joy, the laughter, and then I can let it go again. And I can connect to other parts of me which are also powerful and magical, like the peace and the serenity and the lifting others up and all this kind of stuff, which is equally as much a part of me as this kind of wild side as well. And so perhaps you've connected to this and you've thought, okay, yeah, maybe there's something in there that I want to discover and see what it is. What is my power? Does it feel like that's going to be too much? And so the first thing I would encourage you to do, I've done a lot of deep healing around this already, a lot of the feel it work to connect to parts of me that I'm like, oh God, what are people going to think? That was a big issue for me. Growing up, I was one of those kids that really cared about what other kids thought of me. And so I had to let go of a lot of that. So working through those fears, using the feel it process, so incredibly powerful. And when you're ready to really step into it and allow yourself to perhaps roar or dance or, I don't know, jump up and down, whatever feels like too much for you, find a safe container for that. Set a really clear intention of connecting to your power, connecting to your purpose and your magic, and allow it. Just allow it to come through. And know that it doesn't mean that you're going to go crazy, that you're going to be like this every second of every day, because that's actually not what we need. That would be tiring. That would be a bit much, even for you. And so just take the next step that you're ready for. And if that is just asking the question, who am I being if I'm being too much? And then what would it be like if that was just a spice, just an element added into my life? What would that be like? So start asking yourself these questions, and then maybe the fear of that will come up, like, oh God, I could never do that. And just let yourself sit with that. Let yourself be with that. You may need some support with this. You may need some coaching. You may need a community around you. You may need a kōrero, a discussion. And so just feel into it and feel where you're at. But there's so much power in this. There's so much magic in this. Being able to be our unfiltered selves and really authentically being that, you're never going to be too much. You're just not. And if people think you are, they're reflecting back to you that you still haven't healed that within yourself yet. And so there's so much more in all of us. We've learned in the societies to kind of keep a lid on it and to not make too big of noises, and to not make too wilder movements, and to not wear too crazy clothes, and to not say things that go against popular narrative. We've learned to do that to keep ourselves safe, but that doesn't take us further in the world. That doesn't help lift everybody else up. That doesn't help us step into our power, so we're so powerful that we can show other people their power. And then we can have a lot of fun because we can just be ourselves and go a little bit wild and crazy at times, while also being serene and just knowing that we all have what we need, because there is more than enough for everyone in this world. And yeah, it's about sharing everything, sharing our magic, sharing our joy, sharing our laughter. And yeah, let's see what comes up for you. So I would say start asking yourself some questions, and if you need some support and you need some help, then just hit me up. I love doing this. It is my purpose in life to lift you up and connect you to your magic. So yeah, leave me some comments if you have any questions as well. I'm happy to answer your questions. Okay, ka kite anō. I'll see you soon.